Hello and welcome dear viewers to the another video on QTPP and CQAs for generic product development. In this video, I will walk you through the quality target product profile and critical quality attributes, and these are the QBD elements for generic product development for the regulated markets and the markets which require the QBD based generic product development. So many of the people may have query that what is QBD. So QBD is nothing but it is a risk based approach or a systematic risk based approach for the product development. Then many of the people don't know about the generic and reference product difference. So reference product is also known as RLD for US market or innovator product, or it is also known as patented product. This product is the product which is approved for first time by the regulatory authorities, and this product may or may not include the new medicine, that is new chemical entity or new molecular entity. Generic product is the product which is equivalent to the reference product or comparator product or RLD. For US market, the generic application is known as ANDA, that is abbreviated new drug application, and the reference product is known as NDA, that is new drug application. The generic product should have the pharmaceutical equivalence, bioequivalence, so that it can be given in place of the reference product or innovator, and it can be given in place of the innovator, that is interchange. It can be interchanged with the innovator product. Generally, the generic products have less cost because the generic product does not include the complete clinical and preclinical studies, and this study reference is taken from the innovator product or reference product. That's why the generic products are comparatively cheaper than the reference product. Also, the generic products refer the reference product for development. So the quality criteria for the generic product is equal to the reference product. In quality, the generic product should be same or similar with the reference product. The generic product should be pharmaceutical equivalent, that means the same strength, same doses, similar formulation or similar formulation design, and the route of administration will be same. Then it should be bioequivalent. It should be equally or better stable than the reference product. That means similar in the expiry period or shelf life, equal in the quality characteristics. The generic product should not be inferior to the reference product, equal in the safety and efficacy to the reference product. So this is the requirement for the generic product to get approved. Then we will understand about the quality by design elements, and the quality by design is the risk based approach, the approach in which the risk is evaluated for each and every step, and the QBD elements start from the QTPP, then CQA, CMAs, CPP, CS. So QTPP is the quality target product profile, CQA is critical quality attribute, CMA is critical material attribute, CPP is critical process parameters, CS is the control strategy. And after this, once the product is running into the production or commercially launched, then it will involve the life cycle approach for continuous improvement and change. In this video, we are going to see the two elements, that is quality target product profile and the CQAs, that is critical quality attributes, and the remaining part CMA and CPP and control strategy will study in the next upcoming videos. So quality target for generic product. Whenever the generic applicant develops the product, it should have the similar quality to the reference formulation. That's why I have shown here the apple to apple comparison. It should be similar to the reference product. It should not be like the apple is compared with the other fruit. The apple should be compared with the apple only. If you want to replace the apple, place the another apple. Okay, so target for the generic product development is to make the product very similar to the reference product. And similar in what quality? Similar in the bioequivalence, similar in the safety and efficacy. So the target of the quality or the target is of the quality characteristics to be same in safety and efficacy. To meet the similar quality, the target is required to be set based on the reference product quality and the regulatory requirement. Now, if you have the reference product and you want to develop the generic product for the reference product, then the quality of the reference product is to be studied and evaluated, and based on that quality, the limits and specifications are required to be set. The quality parameters are required to be listed with the specification limits. For example, you assay the reference product, then you should be equal in the assay. If you check the dissolution, then you should be equal in the dissolution, so that you will pass in the bioequivalence study. If you see the stability of the reference formulation, then the generic formulation should show the same stability also. That means the quality target product profile, it is a summary of the quality targets. It is defined as a prospective summary of the quality characteristics of the drug product that ideally will be achieved to ensure the desired quality, taking into account safety and efficacy of the drug product. As the generic product is required to be interchanged or can be given in place of RLD, so it should show the same safety and efficacy as like the innovator product. That's why, what are the quality parameters? These are listed down and their target is set. So this target is set based on the compendial requirements, based on the RLD characteristics, and based on the regulatory requirements. So the QTPP in short is a list of quality, target, product profile, or the summary of quality targets with their limits, and it also enlists whether these are critical or not. So QTPP is designed based on the RLD and the formulation design. QTPP is the first step in the product development, because at the initial stage, the generic applicant should know what is the target for the generic product development. QTPP is the element of QBD approach and it forms the basis for development, so it is required to be made and it should be ready early in the development phase, so that you will have the target for your product. QTPP is based on the properties of the drug substance, characterization of the RLD product, RLD label, and the intended patient population. These are the three very important things on which the QTPP is based. The QTPP includes all product attributes that are needed to ensure the equivalent safety and efficacy with respect to the reference product or RLD. QTPP varies with the formulation design and formulation type. So QTPP involves some same targets, sometimes the target may differ. And why this may differ? Because this is based on the formulation design and the formulation type. For example, QTPP for immediate release tablet will be somewhat little bit different with the QTPP for modified release formulation. QTPP is the set target for generic quality parameters or generic product quality parameters. QTPP is required for robust product development. If you don't have any target, then the development will not have a proper way or proper steps. So to make the manufacturing process robust and scalable, QTPP should be available. Commercially viable product with established control strategy. So whenever the product is required to be manufactured and developed, there should be QTPP available in the initial stage. Then coming to the QTPP elements. So now we will see the QTPP elements. QTPP elements are those elements which target to make the generic product equivalent to the reference product. That's why the dosage form, dosage design, route of administration, pharmacokinetics, stability and shelf life, drug product quality attributes, chemical attributes, container closure, and many others should be in line to the innovator formulation. So coming to the dosage form may be tablet, capsule, suspension, and these are required to be similar to meet the pharmaceutical equivalence requirement and same dosage form as the reference product. Then dosage design. Dosage design means the release profile, maybe IR, ER, DR formulation design, similar to meet the label claim requirement. If the innovator labels the product as ER, the generic product also should label the ER type of formulation. Same formulation design as the reference product. This is the dosage design. Then route of administration and the dosage strength. So strength of the formulation will be equal to the reference formulation, similar to the reference product claim, oral tablet, capsule, suspension, examples, to meet the pharmaceutical equivalence requirement. Then pharmacokinetics. Pharmacokinetics are evaluated through the bioequivalence study, and bioequivalence study requirement is AUC and Cmax will have the 90% CI limit of 80 to 125 with respect to the reference formulation. And there are specific guidelines for the bioequivalence requirement. As per the B requirements, the B studies are done and it is checked whether the test formulation or the generic formulation is meeting to this bioequivalence requirement or not. Then stability and the shelf life. This is also called as expiry period or stability period. It should be equal or better than the innovator product. Then the drug product quality attributes. These are also called as DPCQAs. DPCQAs are the physical attributes, chemical attributes, and microbiological attributes. So physical attributes are description, size, shape, odor, friability, break line, or scoring for the tablet formulation. In this video, I have considered mainly the tablet formulation. Chemical attributes involves identification assay, CU, DISO, impurity profile, residual solvent, degradation products, water content, and the microbial limits. So if you see these two drug products DPCQAs, you will understand that these are the part of finished product specification. So finished product specification is a QTPP element, isn't it? Yes, because it is required to have the pharmaceutical equivalence with the innovator product. Container closure. Suitable container for achieving the target expiry time, shelf life and shipping, handling and transport of the generic product. So the product may be having the container closure system like bottles, child resistant package, valid package, or maybe packed into blister or strips. Then coming to the very important part of QTPP element, that is administration concurrence with labeling. So whether the label of the innovator formulation is saying it is to be given with food, without food, or on empty stomach, that should be very clearly understood by the generic manufacturer, and it should be given onto the label in line with the RLD. Similar instructions like RLD, example food effect as RLD. To be taken on empty stomach, to be taken after food. The product can be taken with or without food, that means without regard to the food. Refer the RLD information for food effects like effect of food on AUC and the Cmax, and determine whether it has clinical significance or not. But always remember, the generic product will have similar instructions like RLD for the labeling. Then alternative methods of administration. If the formulation is made in the tablet formulation, but still it can be given by the other mode of administration or method of administration. Like tablet is taken by oral route, but it can be dissolved or dispersed into water and can be given as suspension. So oral administration, oral drug product administered via enteral feeding tube, administration using feeding tubes, administration using nasogastric tube or gastrostomy tubes, administration using little water, fruit juice, or sprinkle the, for example, capsule content onto soft food and then give to the patient to swallow. So all these information should be very similar and inline to the reference product. Then tablet formulation for oral administration and making suspension for oral administration. Example is enalapril tablets. If you see the patient information leaflet for enalapril tablet, you will get it. Generic label is required to be inline to the RLD labeling with the same instructions. So this was regarding the QTPP. Now coming to the CQAs. See, now you have made the QTPP and you have the target quality profile for the generic product. Now to meet that QTPP, you have to understand the CQAs. These are critical quality attributes. As we have seen the physical attributes, chemical attributes and microbiological attributes in the QTPP. So these are the CQAs. These will become the CQAs. And why CQAs? Because these CQAs will support your target quality profile. So CQA is a quality parameter or quality characteristic which is critical for achieving the required product quality. Without meeting the CQAs, the quality cannot be met. If the CQAs are not within the specific range or limit, then the product cannot be comparable to the reference product and may fail in quality aspects and cannot meet the safety and efficacy requirements. CQAs are classified into three types: physical, chemical and microbial. So physical parameters or physical quality attributes are description, size, shape, odor, friability, breakline, scoring, etc. Here I am considering the tablet formulation as an example. Chemical CQAs will involve identification, assay, content uniformity, dissolution, impurity profile, residual solvent content, water content. Sometimes water content is replaced by the yellow. Microbial CQAs. These are the microbial limits. The product should be free from the microbiological contamination. So how to meet the CQAs? We have to understand the reference formulation. What are the quality attributes for reference formulation? Then API characteristics play very important role for defining the CQAs. Then process criticality, stability requirement, bioequivalence requirements, and proper formulation composition and process design will give the way forward for meeting the CQAs. Good quality management system followed by the organization or to be followed for the product, and appropriate control strategy will play a critical role for meeting the CQAs. CQAs have impact on the safety, efficacy and the patient compliance. That's why on the basis of these three factors, the CQAs can be classified into critical or non-critical. See, all the CQAs will not be critical and all the CQAs will not be non-critical. Some of the CQAs will be critical for some formulations while will not be critical for the other type of formulation. So based on the formulation design, based on the formulation understanding and based on the RLD, these can be denoted as critical or non-critical. So description. Description is not a critical CQA, but it affects the patient acceptability. So appearance of the formulation is not critical, but affects the patient acceptance, and the formulation should be free from physical defects. For example, if you suffer from headache and you purchase the paracetamol tablet from market, and if you see the tablets is having black spots, will you be going to accept the tablets or will you take those tablets? No, you will see the black spots and you will reject those tablets, or you will try to replace those tablets. Why? Because you are not accepting the tablets, because these are with the physical defects. So description plays the important role for patient acceptance. Size should be such that for tablets and capsule that it should be easy to swallow, and comparable size is required with the RLD. So size and shape guideline is there, published by the US FDA. You can go through that to have understanding about the size and shape. Then odor. Odor is not critical, but it also affects the patient acceptance, and the formulation should not have unpleasant odor. Then friability. Friability is generally done for the tablet formulations, and friability denotes the ability of the tablet formulation to withstand the transport, to withstand the processing conditions as per compendial requirements, and to minimize the market requirements or market complaints. For tablets, the friability limit is given as not more than 1%. It is also for the whole tablets and the split tablets if the tablet is scored. Then break line and scoring. Similar break line or scoring should be given to the generic product, similar to the RLD in scoring. There is a tablet scoring guidance published by the US FDA. Critical CQA for reference product is scored or has break lines. It is critical CQA if the RLD is scored. So as per the RLD, the CQAs can be given as critical or not critical. Then the chemical CQAs, identification. Whatever the API is used into the formulation, that should get identified. If it is a combination product, all the ingredients should get identified. That involves the test for positive for content. It is critical for safety and efficacy, and it is to be controlled by proper GMP and quality management system, that is QMS. Assay is critical for safety and efficacy. Generally 100% of the label claim is given, and the limit is given as 90 to 110% of label claim, or stringent. For example, stringent requirement is there for Europe market, and the requirement is 95 to 105% of the label claim. Content uniformity. Conforms to the compendial requirements, USP CU requirement, content uniformity requirements. Nowadays ASTM guidelines are referred. Variability in the assay and CU will affect the safety and efficacy. So the CU is critical. Then dissolution. Dissolution is the most critical type of CQA for the oral solid formulations and for the oral liquid formulations in which the drug is present in undissolved form. So dissolution is critical for bioavailability, and specifications are required to be finalized after the bioequivalence batches data. So dissolution is generated for whole tablets and split tablets if the tablet is cold. Then impurity and degradation products. This is also a very important type of CQA. It is critical for safety and to meet the compendial and ICH requirements. Generally, the impurity and degradation products is the CQA which affect the safety because the impurities are toxic in nature. Residual solvent content. This is critical for safety, and this CQA should meet the compendial and ICH requirements. If you are using the residual solvents like acetone, IPA, ethanol, methanol in the formulation manufacturing, then specific residual solvent tests are to be conducted. Otherwise, the USP requirement of option 1 should be met. Water content. Water content is critical for safety as the water content may affect degradation and impurity. If the API is sensitive to hydrolysis by water, then water content plays the crucial role, and this may also affect the physical properties of the formulation. Sometimes after absorbing the water, the dissolution test fails for the tablet formulations. Sometimes after getting the increase in water content, the tablet properties becomes different, like decrease in the hardness or increase in the hardness. Then in-house limits to be given. Here in-house limits are required to be given for the water content as a CQA. Then coming to the microbial CQAs. See, microbial testing is very important for all the formulations, but for oral solids, it is critical for the safety and it is required to meet the compendial ICH requirements. And for oral solid formulation, generally total aerobic microbial count, total combined yeast and mold count is done, and Escherichia coli should be absent. Other CQAs as per the specific product design and requirements. See, for example, here I have included the alcohol-induced dose dumping test for EMR formulation or extended release formulations. So, alcohol stress conditions may alter the bioavailability and introduce additional risk to the patient safety. So, it is a critical CQA mainly for the modified release type of formulations and for some of the delayed release type of formulations. So here we have included all the information about QTPP and CQAs. I hope you might have understood these two elements for the QBD for generic product development. See, the critical CQAs are required to be investigated throughout the formulation and the process development. If you identify the dissolution as critical CQA, then you cannot minimize the risk of the factors which affect the dissolution, like particle size of the API, polymer concentration or polymer level, and the hardness, and whatever the things which are affecting to the critical CQA, these are always required to be investigated and monitored. So if you think that how to know the criticality of the CQA, if you have a question that then how I can know the CQA is critical or not. See, some of the CQAs like assay, impurity, residual solvent content, dissolution, these are critical to all the products. Why? Because these CQAs are directly linked with the safety and efficacy. While some CQAs like appearance, odor, or scoring, these are not directly related. If the formulation of a reference product is not having break line, then scoring or break line will never be a critical CQA for your product. So this is regarding the QTPP and CQAs. Always try to understand the importance of QTPP and CQAs, because these are the two elements which you are making in the early development, and on the basis of these CQAs and QTPP you are going to develop the entire product. So QBD related questions are generally asked into the interviews, and interviewers check your understanding about the QBD based on some of the simple questions. The interviewer may ask you about the QTPP and how the QTPP is made or how the QTPP is prepared. So QTPP is made or prepared on the basis of reference product, drug product characteristics, drug product design, and the drug substance attributes. QTPP also takes into consideration the label provided by the RLD and the intended patient population. Then it also considers the compendial requirements. It also considers the bioequivalence requirements. So whatever the critical attributes are there, these all are involved or taken into consideration while making the QTPP. So thank you for watching the videos, and I am thankful to the viewers for giving me a good response and comments. Thank you.